Welcome back to From the Bench. As always, Eric. Today we are opening up a retail box of 2021-2022 Series 2 Hockey Retail. Also going to be talking about the latest loss for a Canadian team in the playoffs. Edmonton's no longer there. Vegas goes forward, just like their Toronto Maple Leaf counterparts. But we'll turn the camera around. And everyone's going to be angry now. I typically just put people that have made the next round in. I don't tell you. It's not meant to be rude or mean or anything. But, yeah. So if you're left? Yeah. You're watching left. Matthew Tkachuk pulled that out of SPA. Out of my last couple, or my first box, I think, of the year. The new series. I got Jackie Aces there, Jack Eichel with the Future Watch Auto. And then my boy, I really wish Colorado would have traded for him in the for the trade deadline. Giving up a new hook or somebody like that for Barbashev if they could have done it. Instead, Vegas trades Zach Dean over there instead. For Barbashev, and Barbashev just plays that perfect playoff hockey game. So really happy to see him. I like Edmonton a lot. Barbashev is just one of my favorite players from juniors all the way up. I just think he plays the game the right way, and I always found he never really got the chance to go on one of those top two lines, and whenever he did, he produced really well for St. Louis, and now he's finally getting that chance. So here we go. Gonna have 24 packs, 8 cards per pack. We're 6 young guns, and we'll see what we can get here. So we got Barabanov, Jesper Fast, and Anthony Beauvillier with Kopitar behind him, Brock Nelson, Patrick Laine, and a Jake Gardner. So, yeah, I said it's just nice to see him out there playing. He's obviously playing with Jack Eichel a lot. Him, Marchessault putting up the half trick. Literally after one of the commentators said before the game, watch out for Marchessault. He's got all this stuff going for him. He just, he could have a big game. Also, he scores a natural hat trick. So, Martinez, our first young gun here. So this crop, if you don't know, you're looking for Sider, Byfield, Raymond, McTavish, Lundell. Who else am I looking for? There's somebody else I'm missing. Anyways, we'll get right into it. We'll see what we can find here. So we got first young gun. It's going to be for the Kings. Former Moncton Wildcat, Vladimir Tkachev. So he's playing back in the KHL. He only played the one season in the NHL. He had a weird thing when he first came over to Moncton, even over to the Q. He had a hard time getting his work visa, I'm pretty sure, or something. He showed up super late. He's actually played with Barbashev back in the day. I'm just gonna move my mouse over here just so it's out of the way. But yeah, Coprasalo, Armia, Taylor Hall, Patty Kane, and Boris Kachuk. This is if I'm sneezing here. Carey Price, Hampus Lindholm, and Colin Miller. So, Jack Eichel, I think just showing people, reminding them that, he was the second overall pick at some point. I think that's another thing to remember. Jack Eichel's really good at hockey. It's just the way it is. Is he Connor McDavid? No, but he's Jack Eichel, which is pretty freaking good. Adam Ruzicka. Remember, I think when the trade happened, he had 520 points in 500 something games, I think it was, or something along those lines. So he's almost a point per game player. He's good. People just gotta remember that. Nick Cousins, sorry Leaf fans, big game winner there for them. Chris Letang. That is the more you saw it, the Gudis, like, that's holding the stick. I didn't feel bad about, like, the running the interference, like, kind of putting your stick in front of his. Like, that play happens 30 times a game. I even said to one of my good friends. The seeing him later on that he actually grabbed the stick, that's a no-go. So, next young gun, here we go. It's going to be for the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is Taylor Radish. Now of the, he's part of the Brandon Hagel trade, I'm pretty sure. But he was like one of the leading scorers for Chicago last year. So maybe Taylor Radish's young gun will take a bump like Lucas Reichel's. But Taylor Radish, second leading goal scorer for the Chicago Blackhawks last year by the end of the year. Like, of the people that were still on the team at the end of the year. So that's wild to think of. It's like him and Andreas Athanasiou. I heard like Hockey Card Gong Show podcast. Anyways, I listened to a lot of their stuff and they were talking about it. And yeah, that was the leading scorers of the year. Andreas Athanasiou and Taylor Radish. It's not what you want to hear for your leading scorers. We're just knocking out these young guns left, right, and center here. Ilya Lyubushkin. Next one is going to be for the Blue Jackets. This is not what we want to see. Not as bad. Cole Sillinger. So pretty good rookie season overall. I'm trying to see if it's got the... Kind of has that print line, I think. Yeah. See, if you guys don't know, and I'll just show you, you can kind of see it right there. See the glare right here, kind of? See it right by the edge of this card? See it right there? They all have this. All is Series 2. Now, I sent some McTavishes and stuff out originally, and they came back and graded 10s. So I'd sent off a ton. And a lot of people, if you watch this channel for a long time, you know this. This is more just for new people if you don't know. You might think like, oh, that card is perfect and you're checking corners and the centering is good and everything else. And they very well could be. But they all have a print line down the side of it. So just be careful, I guess is the only thing I can say. Anton Reese, Mike Smith, goaltending issues, and again in Edmonton. Lehkonen, Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche. And then Andre Vasilevsky. I was like going to say it weird for some reason. There we go, Vasilevsky. It doesn't even matter who Vegas is putting it. Aiden Hill, Brassant, before he got injured. Logan Thompson. But you got Pietrangelo, you got Shea Theodore, you got Brittany McNabb. Like, you got a lot of guys over there that are pretty good. Yoki Haru, Dustin Brown, Bagdapani, and there we go. Mason McTavish, Red Dazzlers. So isn't going to get obviously play with Connor McDavid. You just imagine what his prices would have been if he had, and his Zegras, if they had won the first overall pick in the draft. That would have been crazy. But not the case, unfortunately, for all of Anaheim. They're still going to get a decent player. Like, it'll probably be Adam Fantilli, who's probably going to go second overall. And then it's kind of the weird thing in this year. It's Bedard is one. We know that. We could, start printing the jerseys now. It's fine. It's more like the next 3 or 4, the Fantilli, the Russian kid, I can't remember his name. Is it Mikov or something like that? I haven't seen it in a while. I remember like he was like last year they were talking like, is it going to be Bedard or this kid? Because he like was so highly touted, and then it obviously didn't work out for him to be that highly touted. So naturally we got Roman Josi, absolute stud. Draisaitl, Shattenkirk, Matty Duchene, and Aaron Ekblad. Draisaitl and them. I thought maybe it was more of a differential. Last couple of games really helped them, but over the series there was 10 goal scorers for Vegas, 8 different goal scorers for Oilers. I think like 3 different ones came from like the last game alone, but it's hard when you're getting the same guys. You can't really depend on other guys to really chip in. We got Kevin Fiala, former Nashville Predator. Kevin Fiala. He's one of my buddies, Chris, randomly, just kind of how it's random that I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan on the East Coast of Canada. My buddy's actually a Nashville Predators fan. Even more weird. But he loved Kevin Fiala for a long time. So Chris Tanev. This is going to be a retro. We get Keith Yandel, former Moncton Wildcat, Keith Yandel. Andre Burakovsky, Larson, and Nieto. So. And then Matthew Tkachuk. Kids, put your mouth guard in your mouth. Do not follow what Matthew Tkachuk is doing right back there. But they're a good team over in, like, people like, I think they just like thought they were gonna be bad this year. Oh, Florida's been kind of like the underperforming team in the playoffs the last 3-4 years now. Bobrovsky's somehow just playing good again. Who knew that could happen? Then you just get a little like sandpaper with like Matthew Tkachuk, right? I like Huberdeau, but obviously they just need a little bit different gear for the playoffs. So marquee rookie of a guy that's no longer in the league. Perfect. Ovechkin, Parayko, and Tanev. So I don't know what you do if you're Edmonton. You just kind of find the guys that are like that can step up and score a couple of goals here and there, right? That want to do it. Like, you can't pay Zach Hyman $8 million. Like, you just can't pay a guy that is not a second line player $8 million or whatever the heck he makes. Like, who is bidding against you? So we got Stammer. We'll just go to Lightning here. Boris Kachuk. That's very fitting because, once again, that's how Upper Deck rolls. If you get an insert of somebody, you get the regular young gun also. It's like my biggest pet peeve with all this. You kind of guarantee that you're going to usually double up on a player, especially when it comes to rookies in these products. Pietrangelo, the most hated man in all of Edmonton, I think, right now. Right after that big slash. No love lost, by the way, after the game between him and the handshake line between him and Draisaitl. This looks like a Vegas colors, I'd say. Yeah, Golden Knights. There you go. Pavel Dorofeyev. This is not a good box so far. That's fine, though. Pavel Dorofeyev. The Knights, they got a little bit more depth, I guess. Or even William Karlsson, not an amazing player, but he's a pretty good player, right? So Marchessault, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, go even through that line. Like, they get some good depth there and a couple of young guys, and they have a really solid defense where, it's Ekholm and Darnell Nurse, but Darnell Nurse is an overpaid defenseman. No matter what way you shape. And I guess maybe you think you'd be able to lure more people in by like, hey, come sign with us. You get to play with McDavid. And you think you'd almost get the guys on like a $3 million, instead of him signing for $5 million, they sign for 3.5 or 4. And maybe you kind of just say like, well, you're going to play with him. I mean, like, might not be a huge contract now, but like, you're going to get the ice time. You're going to get the points because you're playing with McDavid. But I guess maybe not everyone feels that same way. There we go, Barbashev there. Jonas Brodin, Logan Couture, and Seth Jones. Pretty much him and Reichel. And then now Connor Bedard. There's that trio over there. Not a whole lot left. It's like $40 million in cap space they have, though, for them. Spezzer, Getzy. There we go, Mason McTavish once again. You hit one insert of them, you're going to hit multiple. So, Yamamoto, Marner, Nikushkin with his whole scenario. That was even the Avalanche's issue, right? You lose Gabe Landeskog, think he's going to come back at some point before the end of the season. He doesn't come back, and then Nikushkin goes out. It's like you lose two good players in the playoffs. Like, half the playoffs is luck just staying healthy. And it's hard. So, Brady McNabb. There was a thing where McDavid kind of took a shot. gave him a little shot. I think that's fine. I don't think you should be angry about it if you're a Oilers fan. That's just hockey. You're allowed to play hockey. You're allowed to hit each other. That's part of the game. For the Edmonton Oilers, Duncan Keith, not the guy you're looking for. It'd been a lot better if it was McDavid here, but Duncan Keith, obviously a terrible trade. Just, how many terrible trades they made over the years? Duncan Keith on top of all of it. Probably 6 years too late for Duncan Keith to really want to trade for him. 3 at best, right? If you really want to push it, but Ryan O'Reilly couldn't do it. I thought maybe he'd give the Leafs a little oomph. Paul Stastny, Hayden Fleury, and the next young gun is going to be for Calgary Flames. Matthew Phillips? Yeah. Matthew Phillips, young, undersized, plays well in the AHL. Didn't do a whole lot this past year in the NHL. You're also dealing with Sutter, so that could be a part of that, right? Just dealing with Sutter, and I saw it with Jacob Pelletier, who former Wildcat, really good player, played really well in the AHL the last couple of years. Everything else, two-way player, everything you could want, and he gets demoted essentially to like the 4th line, playing 6 minutes a night. It's like, yeah, you don't think that kid could benefit from playing a little more ice time, but got Brady, and honor roll is going to be Niels Lundqvist. Trade over to Dallas Stars for like a 1st-round pick. I didn't understand that trade at all. Made 0 sense. Maybe they're just going off of hype or past hype, I guess, draft pedigree. But a 1st-round pick for him, I don't know. Maybe Dallas just thought maybe we're in a win now scenario, so give us a guy he's young, but like he's only this year / next year away, compared to drafting a guy and being 3 years away. Trying to capitalize on that Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Joe Pavelski kind of window, which we'll have to wait till tomorrow and see, but might be able to do it here if they can beat the Kraken in Game 7. So Travis Hamonic, another honor roll. This is Shane Pinto. So definitely a nicer design, I think, in 2022-2023 for the Superstar honor roll. A couple packs left. We have 4 packs left. Thank you guys for watching. If you want, make sure to check us out on here, like and subscribe. And then if you want, also check us out on Instagram. It's always a good time to talk to you guys. If you guys have any questions or just want to talk about the hobby and stuff, always down to do that. Rasmus Dahlin started off really hot. Still finished with a pretty good season, but definitely cooled off a little bit compared to what was the first 12 games he had a goal or something like that. 10 games, 12 games, whatever it was for a defenseman. I think he only finished with like 14. So definitely cooled off in the second half. Kucherov. What is this? Oh, yeah, the Young Guns canvas. There we go. Pretty sure I know who this one is. The Young Guns canvas. Is it for Ottawa? It is for Ottawa. This is Parker Kelly. So I know this one because I actually bought this card graded as like a PSA 10 for like decently cheap. Like probably one of the first copies of it graded. Parker Kelly is not a fancy name, by the way. He's not a big prospect. I don't even know how old he is. Parker Kelly is 1999, so he's 24. He's actually, as I'm recording this, yesterday was his birthday. Sunday was his birthday. So happy belated birthday to Parker Kelly. But I bought his Young Gun canvas in a PSA 10 for super cheap, whatever it was. And I was putting it like on eBay and just left it there as like a buy it now. And like somebody, pretty sure hit like click like buy at like $60. I think I bought it for like 20 maybe. And yeah, somebody hit like buy it now for like 60. So worked out well. Sometimes if you find like young, like especially a newer set, a young guy, maybe not a big name, but Provetov. You find that right name and you just see it front. Under the price of grading, it's a PSA 10. It's hard to say no. So the odd time I'll pick up something like that, especially if you just look and see like, oh, he's an NHLer, or he's could play in the NHL, or he's still get that hype because it's not too far away. Nice. One of my more like proud flips. I've sold like bigger cards. Doesn't really matter to me. You know, sometimes it's the little ones that it's like, oh, it's just a cool play that I made. Brandon Sutter, and then Tanner Jeannot. That trade is not looking good. They gave up a ton for him. I do like Tanner Jeannot, kind of that throwback to that power forward kind of role that you don't really see, like the Ryan Getzlavs of the world and everything else nowadays. But Tanner Jeannot could have big upside in the future for Tampa Bay going forward. But there it is. I'm sure there's, like I said, some of you guys that you cursed and swore the entire way through this entire video, having to look at Matthew Tkachuk. If you're a Leafs fan, Jack Eichel or Ivan Barbashev in the background for this whole thing. I almost put Petrolangelo Future Watch Auto in the background, and I decided I didn't want anyone's TVs to go flying tonight or have a remote thrown through them. So decided to avoid all that and just put a Matthew Tkachuk. Wasn't even that super ratty against Toronto, so you know, it is what it is. But let me know who you guys think wins the Dallas-Seattle game tonight. And then in the Eastern Conference, do you think Florida can keep it going as a giant killer, taking out Boston, obviously, then taking out Toronto? Now they're playing against, you know, Rob Brindamore and the Hurricanes. Do you think they can do it? You think they can make it all the way? And do you think Vegas has enough to take on either one, Dallas or Seattle? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. For Eric from the bench, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.